What's up, everyone? My name's Lisa. For those of you that don't know, I just wanted to come on really quick and just let you guys know that it's okay to walk away from family. And it's okay to not feel bad about it either. And yeah, this weekend, something amazing happened. I thought it was the beginning of something completely different, but as it's turned out, I received a different lesson. And, I walked into yesterday a moment where every person in my immediate family was going to be there, as well as, my nieces and nephews. And, normally this is a very triggering experience for me. And I normally have to spend a minimum of like 3 weeks preparing myself mentally to be around my family. I'm not saying this because they're terrible people or anything. It's 12:12 on the clock. I'm saying this because we just live completely different lives. I have gotten sober. I'm coming up on 24 years sober, and along my sobriety journey, I've done some inner work, not just some, a lot. I keep leaning into understanding why I am the way that I am, and leaning into forgiving, right? And it's been this series of layers, right? And the bottom line of everything has always been that I've wanted to get this like love and validation and approval from my family. I don't even want to like just limit it to my mother and my stepfather, right? Including my brothers. In my family, I've always been the black sheep. Even when I was drinking, I was the black sheep. When I was younger, it came out, that something, okay, we don't need to go there. Okay. One day I'm going to put my full story out there, and I know that it's going to be very healing, because I know for me to write it or speak it out loud, because I've come from a place of just feeling so silenced, right? And I never really felt myself the victim, but because I was so paralyzed and kept myself in the box, because I was always thinking of other people, right? Of how it made other people feel for me to be sticking out in the crowd, my mother's jealousy, I know that many women have lived through the jealous mother thing, right? It's not a comfortable experience. I don't, I've learned to forgive my mother and move past the whole experience. Like, it's just been this big, like, full circle. I've gone full circle with trying to mend my relationship with my mother, and, including just these gut-wrenching, heart pouring out messages to her, right? And they've gone like unresponded. I've forgiven my parents, although the only one that's ever apologized has been my father, right? My birth father. And he apparently has, according to anybody else that you talk to, is the worst of them. And but yet he is the only one who's ever owned his behavior and worked at regaining my trust. These are, stories for another time. I do feel like I'm meant to share my story, my message, to connect with those of you out there that do resonate with just being voiceless in your family, not being seen, like, even though you've done monumental things, you know, I'm coming up on 24 years of sobriety, and that means nothing to my family because I don't own a house. And I still need to borrow money at times. And trust me, the only times I ever ask is when I'm in dire need, due to the fact that my family has really just proven that they should be the last people I go to for help. I have put off making this video because I love my family, and I pray for their healing and their happiness all the time. But I am who I am in spite of everything they've put in my way to keep me down. You know, I don't like to talk about other people, you know. That's not my thing, you know. I would prefer to approach issues with the person head on, you know, even though that's like nothing that I was raised with, right? Like this is what taking accountability for my life and my situation has taught me. It's like I have to handle things firsthand. Like right now, I'm financially speaking, I'm in the worst state I've ever been in. And I'm not saying that to be a victim. I'm saying that because what's amazing is I know I'm going to be okay, right? And it's not because like I have an attitude of like, I'm going to show them, you know, where I feel like I have something to prove, or out of like anger. Like, everybody is doing what they are able to do or what they feel is right. And to get to this place that I have right now, like, of just knowing that even though I don't know how this is going to end, I'm going to be good. And because I have been in some pretty bad scenarios where I have just been a complete wreck, and I know I'm crying, but that's because I'm human. And it's also because a lot of truths are just becoming completely clear to me, and they're just things that I have just not wanted to see, you know, about my circumstances and people around me. And I've done everything, you know, I've shared on here before, you guys, about how stubborn of a person I am, and I have to do things my way, every way possible before I let go. And sometimes just having boundaries isn't enough. Like sometimes you have to just completely cut the cord and walk away. And you know, I've always had this dream of creating something where, you know, myself and my family could all be operating it, and we could all make money and like have vacations together. And Like, I wanted to take care of my family. And, you know, God has other plans for me. And, to be as calm as I am right now, like, is really a testament to how far I have come. And to be able to respond to my family in not a confrontational way, to even like really like, whatever, I get it, you know, like I can see what they're saying, you know, I need money, you know, I've borrowed money before, I haven't had money to pay it back, so in their eyes, I don't deserve more money, which I understand. There's also like this saying where if money is your only problem, you don't have any problems. Because, you know, you have everything else. You have your health, you have your roof over your head, you got food to eat, I got kids that love me and adore me. I have a job, you know, doing everything I can. If people don't want to see me for who I have grown into, I have no control over that. But it doesn't mean that I'm going to stop being this person, or even stop growing and going towards my own ambitions. Sometimes family sucks. And it just is what it is. And I still wish them the best. I just know they're not the best for me. And maybe that one day that will change. But as much as I've tried to hold on to a version of my life that has just never been, where I'm headed, it's just like I have to let it go, you know? And it saddens me, but I also know that my mental health is the foundation for the way I show up in life, you know? And I can't continue to play like I can't continue to play a role that, like, I'm just not that person anymore. Like, whoever they see me as, like I can't, there's nothing, I've tried everything to prove to them that I've changed, and including not asking for help. So, I mean, I've needed help. I've needed help, but I don't ask until I haven't asked until like there's literally nothing else I could do. Because I know the consequences of asking help. from them. And you know, this weekend I got to see that, you know, life is just what it is, and it's okay. I'm going to be okay. And I don't know, you know, I know everything's going to be okay, and I know that all I have to do is what's in front of me to do, and everything always works out, because it always has. And there should be no reason why it shouldn't happen now, you know? So there's going to be huge shift, right? These huge shifts are coming. These towers are coming in to shake us free of our old selves, so that we can step truly into who we are, you know? And so go ahead and cry if you need to cry, but, you know, then put your big girl panties back on, or your big boy pants, and do what's in front of you to do, you know? Like, and know that it's not always going to be like this. And like Taylor Swift says, you can do it with a broken heart. And yeah. I was gonna honestly try not to cry on this, you know, but it's a huge closing of an era for me. And the fact that, in spite of my tears, I feel so ready and empowered. Like, I can't believe this, you know? like I can't believe that I'm finally, like, okay without their approval. It's fucking beautiful. And I won't ever allow myself to be put back in a box again. And that is also just amazing to me. And the fact that my kids don't live in a box either. You know, I hope that no matter what, that's what people get from me, is that no matter what, no matter fucking what, you just fucking keep leaning into it. When it gets overwhelming, you look down at your feet to remind yourself where you are. You look up, you take a deep breath, you do what's in front of you to do. And repeat as many times as necessary. Listen, something that has been so true for me through all my trials and tribulations is that God has never brought me as far as he brought me just to bring me there. You know, there's this saying, when you're down to nothing, God is up to something. So I am free falling, baby. And I hope that it encourages you to lean on God and trust yourself too, and keep pushing forward. I love you. Have an amazing day. Bye.